What's good, beautiful people? It is your friend Nina X back with this week's edition of Free Thought Friday. And in this week's Free Thought Friday, I have a co-star. So everybody say hi to Spike. This is Spike. So, the thesis of this week's Free Thought Friday is we tend to want to ostracize things and people that we don't feel like fit into, the definitions of, perfection and our state of mind, or, I've noticed a tendency within the spiritual community to just, exclude and really other people and things that don't fit into whatever cookie cutter mold, insert, person, whoever's doing the cookie cutting. And that's the thing. It varies so much based on who's doing the cookie cutting. Like, there are angry feminists who feel like, all men are the issue. And then there are like super militant people who are like, the feminization of the black man and the LGBTQ is the enemy. And it's just so much finger pointing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So much finger pointing and othering. And what I have found from lived experience is that things tend to flourish and become the best of themselves when you pour into them, as opposed to leaving them out, in the cold. So the reason Spike is a co-star is because, and I'm gonna, go back and edit and insert a photo here so you guys can see how Spike looked when I met Spike, because Spike was a gift that one of my old roommates got from their ex. And when the relationship terminated, they were like, fuck that plant. And they literally just left it to die. Which, completely understandable, since it was symbolic of the relationship and the tie, and they wanted absolutely nothing to do with it. But me being the bleeding heart that I am, I was like, what's up with the plant, baby? What's up with the guy? And they were like, child, I don't want that plant. If you want it, you can have it. And I was like, ooh, friend. So me and Spike became friends from that day, and I took it upon myself to like pour into Spike, to water and nurture Spike in the absence of anybody else, the people who, potted it. And this is a really nice pot, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in the absence of anybody else caring for it, I took the time, and it went from like scraggly with like, here, I'll show you guys. These were like, the fronds that it kind of started off with, and like these guys here, and it was very, very lank and not full. And over time, it just grew and expanded and got new little bloops and little baby spikes, to the point that it's ready to propagate. It's busting out. It's busting loose. And there's such a metaphor there for how people can heal, and how the worst of us in some cases. Now, I'm not talking, mass murderers, rapists, people who cause actual harm, you know what I'm saying? But there can be redemption for people and things that, don't fit into what we necessarily believe is the mold of what things should be. Because I could have looked at the plant and been like, oh no, like, the leaves are all thin. It's not even doing what an aloe's supposed to do. Like, just let it die and I'll go buy another one. And that's so often how we treat each other within this society and within the Black community specifically. And I think it's necessary to remember that that things can be redeemed and things can be healed, and that we need to expand our minds in terms of where we draw the lines, like, you know what I'm saying? Because once again, the lines get drawn various places depending on who's doing the drawing. If racists are doing the drawing, then it's like, oh, minorities need to get the fuck out of here. And if, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, I think we just all need to err slightly more on the side of compassion and pouring into each other, as opposed to, you know, ostracizing, because love has a tendency to heal lots of things that one may have thought were beyond salvaging. And I've seen it within, you know, myself and my own healing and self-love journey. Because I used to be angry. I don't know. A lot of y'all knew Angry Ema. And, like, Angry Ema used to be real angry. Like, snap on anything, flame on anything. Like, and now, you know, because of just forgiving people in my past, forgiving myself, and also just really knowing who I am and what works for me and what doesn't, and not really feeling the need to contort that for anyone else's comfortability. But also within that, allowing people to be themselves and not have to contort themselves for my comfortability. I had no idea when I started pouring into Spike that they would make the resurgence that they would. And even if they didn't, I would have still made the effort, just because nature and the Creator, the Most High, doesn't really make anything that is beyond redemption. And, like, certain folks in the course of their existence and journeys can definitely go astray. Like, there's definitely, you know, lots of astray that happens on this journey of life, as, you know, we encounter traumas, we deal with just all sorts of external stimuli that can kind of take us off our path. But there's not really anything that's beyond redemption. And I'm sorry that this week's episode is so, well, no, I'm not sorry, because you know what? Life is about varying degrees and textures. And, you know, sometimes I feel like being jokey and laughy, but sometimes, like, you know, it's, you guys get a softer side of me. You guys get to see the nurturing aspect of me. And my plant babies bring that out of me. My plant babies, like kids and animals, bring that out of me. The rest of y'all kind of get what y'all get. But I have special soft parts for nature and the youth them. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to every young person struggling with their sexuality and, you know, feeling ostracized because of it, feeling like they're the destruction of the Black family just because they like what they like. Shout out to every young Black man who isn't, you know, LGBTQ, but just has some hobbies that don't fit into quote unquote, you know, traditional masculinity. Like, young boy wants to be a tumbler. Like, you know what I'm saying? Young boy wants to be, you know, an acrobat. Young boy wants to do theater. And because of people's very narrow perceptions, they don't feel welcome into certain spaces, or like the fullness of themselves would be embraced and accepted. So one of my goals and part of my purpose is to create spaces where people are accepted in the fullness of themselves, as long as they're not coming with any sort of like negative, destructive energy. And this is the thing, even negative, destructive energy has its place, because a lot of times that's just cries for help. That's just people lashing out because they don't know how to express themselves in more constructive ways, because they've never seen it. We are out here struggling with a case of a lot of people have poor examples. A lot of people were not raised and cultivated in environments that were loving, and you get the result of like a scraggly spike. But let spike be an example of what can truly happen when we pour into each other. And I hope that you guys all, feel safe to be the fullness of yourself with me and in my presence. And I've always called myself the judgment-free zone, like Planet Fitness. But I really strive to just, as I said, create spaces where people can just be whoever they are, because humanity is so varied and has so much nuance and depth and breadth. And that's breadth as in broadness, not breath, but also breath and life. And to think that we should all fit into any sort of singular lane or all, express in certain ways is just utterly ludicrous. So feel free to inbox me if you are going through anything where you feel like your truth wouldn't be honored or accepted in other spaces. I'm always a listening ear, even if you just want to rant. Trust me, anybody who knows me knows that I am definitely the type of person to hold space for the whole of humanity, from the root chakra to the crown. So if you want to talk about like aliens and freaking other dimensions and freaking magic and freaking fairies, I don't know, if you want to talk about any of the things, because nobody in your environment really gets down on that type time, and you feel like they would look at you like you have 3 heads, I will not look at you like you have 3 heads. And even if you did have 3 heads, I'd be like, yo, awesome, other 2 heads, what do they do? Because I don't know, I operate more so from a space of curiosity and wanting to know what makes people them, as opposed to like judgment and needing to put you in a box for my own personal comfortability. And I feel like the world would be a better place if we all operated from that type of space. So in the immortal words of the GOAT, the great Archangel Michael Jackson, I started with the man, woman, person, soul, spirit in the mirror. And so I am being, the person a lot of times I wish I had when I was younger, or being, just what I feel the world needs. So please understand that I am not saying anything to you guys that I haven't already, self-applied and am not actively living. I don't do the hypocrisy in terms of ascribing other things to other people, but operating from different rubrics and dynamics myself. I try to embody and live these principles, and Free Thought Friday is an extension of that, because I try to live free, with a free mind and a free heart, and a free soul. And, you know, the number one thing about freedom is I want that for everyone. It's not something that I just covet selfishly for myself. And I wish that for everyone, and I hope that for everyone, and I pray to the Most High for that for everyone. Because there's enough space and there's enough room and there's enough life for all of us to get to self-determine without, you know, categorical boxes that a lot of times were created to limit as opposed to define, because people are so nuanced that on one day you can be this and on another day you can be that, and life and community should allow for the fullness of that. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say. So gratitude to my ancestors and gratitude to the Most High for inspiring this message and for sitting me down and making me deliver it, because I just came from the gym. Y'all caught me in between my protein shake and my meal. So trust that this comes from a place of love, because anybody who knows me and my Taurus moon knows that I really enjoy some food. So I'm not eating right now to sit and have this talk with you guys and to edit this video and to upload it. So, you know, namaste, folks, namaste. The soul in me recognizes the immortal soul in all of you. And that's the part I want to vibe with, because these human shells are merely expressions of how we've chosen to be in this lifetime. But your soul doesn't have a gender. You know, your soul doesn't have a zodiac sign. Your soul doesn't have, you know, a nationality or, you know, state of origin. So really, when you get down to that, we're all one and we're all more the same than we are different. But the differences are really, you know, as they say, variety is the spice of life. The differences are really the things that create the texture, that create the experiences. And I have met some beautiful human beings and some people who do not identify as human beings across the spectrum of categories, you know what I'm saying? From ultra militant RBG niggas who, you know, would go toe to toe with Malcolm X on his most, you know, by any means day, to, you know, queer folks who are so gender bending that, you know, they just defy all the you know, categorization. And I find community and beauty and wisdom in everyone, and everyone's truth has space and place. And, you know, to quote another, you know, artist that inspires me, in the immortal words of Lauryn Hill, why for you to increase, I must decrease. There's room for everyone. And it's only a lack mindset. It's only, you know, these thought patterns that have been imposed on us that make us feel like things have to be one way, like there's one religion, like there's one, you know, and way that anyone should operate. Whereas I have once again found through my lived experience that different strokes for different folks. What works for me does not work for you. And as long as what you are embodying in the way that you are living allows you to show up as the best of yourself and, you know, add to spaces rather than detract, then I have no beef. I have no beef. So, yeah, namaste, beautiful people.